Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video for you here today titled Man Divorces His Wife After He Discovers Her Secret List of Guys That She Hooked Up With While Married. Now, I have heard of these lists that some women create before. Usually it's of dudes that they've hooked up with previously or while they're having their fun party years. But this is a new one. We have a wife who is making a list of guys that she is hooking up with while married. Now, I believe this is a one-way ticket to divorce, obviously, so we will see how this story plays out. Guys, don't forget to like the video on your way in. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and let's take a listen to the story. So, a 35-year-old man tells the story of how he accidentally found a hidden list that his wife, who was 33, had written, detailing every man that she had hooked up with behind his back during their marriage. His world crumbled instantly, and so did their relationship. He says, I'm a 35-year-old male, and my now ex-wife is 33, and we had been married for 7 years. He thought they had a good relationship, stable, supportive, filled with the usual ups and downs, but nothing that felt catastrophic. We owned a house together, we had a dog, and we were talking about kids soon. Life felt, if not perfect, that it was at least steady. Okay, it's interesting to me, guys, how you'll have these wives that decide to do this level of cheating, especially as their biological clock is running out, right? She's talking, imagine for a second, okay, that the dude doesn't discover this. He doesn't discover what's going on. What do you think the odds are that if these two had a child, the child would actually be his? Because I'm thinking the chances would be pretty damn low, right? In other words, I think that this woman would 100% commit paternity fraud. She would lie to this guy, and she would let him raise a kid as if it was his own. And usually it's these guys who are providers, right? The dudes who are stable, the dudes who are supportive and everything, they don't expect anything. And before you know it, they're raising kids that are not even their own. He says, one night she asked me to grab her laptop from her office because she was cooking and needed a recipe that she had saved. When I opened it, the Notepad app was already up, and sitting there staring me in the face was a document simply titled Confessions. Curious and thinking it was probably just a journal entry or personal goals, I opened it. What I found instead was a detailed, bullet-pointed list of every guy she had cheated with while married to me, with dates, locations, descriptions of what they did, even little notes like felt guilty after this one, or only a kiss but still wrong. And there were 9 names, 9 men that I had never heard her mention once over the course of our marriage. Now, a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, let's discuss this. Let's sit down and have a discussion. No, this is instant divorce. Instant, right? Go to the lawyer, serve her with divorce papers. No, there will be no reconciliation here. There will be no marriage therapy. That would be absolutely stupid. He then goes on to say that his immediate reaction was to feel sick. It was like the ground underneath him gave out. He quietly emailed the file to himself, put the laptop back exactly how he found it, and acted normal through dinner. Inside, though, something inside him had already passed away. So what he did was he decided to plan his exit, which of course makes sense. He says, over the next week, I met with a lawyer, gathered all the financial documents, moved some of my personal valuables into a storage unit. I didn't tell friends, I didn't tell family, I didn't want anyone convincing me to work it out or hear her side. Her side was written clearly in her own words. I like how this guy already knows what these idiots would do, right? There's like a lot of these people, I swear, in like every family, in every group of friends, there'll always be this person or these people who are like, yeah, man, you should just try and make it work, right? You should just put up with it and work it out. You guys should go to therapy. Obviously she's in pain. Okay, so you need to listen to her side. And they always pull this nonsense, which, like, when I hear it in my head, I always think to myself, why would you ever speak to these people ever again, right? These are supposed to be your friends. These are supposed to be your family. And they're trying to convince you to sit there and work it out with somebody who you have no business working it out with in the first place. I've always found that to be incredibly stupid. He says, I served her the divorce papers 2 weeks later. She looked genuinely confused at first, like she had no idea what was happening. When I told her I had seen her confessions list, her face drained of color instantly. She started crying, apologizing, and begging me to talk to her, but there was nothing to talk about. You don't accidentally cheat on your husband with 9 different people. I totally agree with this, by the way. And these women, like, we'll go on in a second to see how she tries to downplay it, but they always do this downplaying. You know, like, oh, it didn't really matter and so on. But like, the fact of the matter is, guys, it's just over by this point. You can't talk your way out of this nonsense. So here are some of the excuses that she tried on the guy. She said it didn't mean anything. It was just physical. Isn't this a sentence, by the way, that a husband would love to hear? Oh, don't worry, right? I cheated with 9 different men. But you know what the silver lining is, though, sweetie? It's that it was just physical. What kind of man, if you say something like this would probably just make it even worse. Oh, don't worry. It was just physical. Don't worry about it, you know? That's like saying to a woman, right? You go out there and you cheat with a woman on your wife and you're like, don't worry, it was just emotional. It was just emotional. Or it was just financial. Imagine saying that to a woman, like as if that, you know, as if that helps the situation at all. This is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Oh, don't worry, sweet husband. You know, there's these 9 different men that I cheated with. It wasn't serious. It was only physical. Disgusting. She also said she was going through a rough time, as if that makes a difference to anything. He said all it did was make it worse. Yep, there it is. If she had been miserable, she could have talked to me. Instead, she chose to betray me over and over again. The divorce finalized about 3 months later. I kept the house, the dog, and moved on with my life. That is great to hear. I don't think a lot of guys would have ended up in this situation, so that's really good. He kept the house, he kept the dog, and moved on. I assume this means he had a good lawyer. This, you know, or the house was in his name and everything like this. He didn't make the stupid decision of buying it with the woman. But what's insane about divorces as well, guys, is they seem to. I'm not divorced, okay? I'm not a divorce lawyer or anything like this. But they seem to take a damn long time, do they? Even if you have everything in order and you go ahead with the divorce immediately, right? You serve the wife. 3 months would just piss me off, man. That would take so long. Like, imagine going through this situation yourself, how long this would feel going through it. She moved back in with her parents, and from what I've heard, she's been struggling both financially and emotionally. Comedy. I don't feel sorry for her. She made her choices and now she's living with them. This wasn't a one-time intoxicated mistake. This was a consistent, repeated choice to disrespect everything we built together. He says forgiveness might sound noble, but some acts burn the bridge so completely that rebuilding is impossible. I totally agree with this guy. All of these clowns out here, man, who are like, you know what? You got to forgive her. You've got to rebuild your marriage. Why is it upon the men, right? Why is it upon the people who get screwed over in general to rebuild something? It makes no sense to me. Like, your wife cheats on you and everyone's like, you know what? You should just make it work. Like, absolutely not. And the man is also correct here, by the way. This was a series of decisions, okay? It's not as if she did this once, you know, as if that would make it any better, which it doesn't. But it's a series of decisions. So all of this trying to remove accountability doesn't actually work. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.